Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Digital Marketing Gyaan, the show where marketing meets execution. Today's episode is going to be a game changer for anyone in SEO, content marketing, or business leadership. We are diving into one of the most important questions of 2025. How do you rank in AI search engines like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and Gemini? Joining me today is Kevin Roy, CEO and co-founder of GreenBananaSEO, a digital marketing agency built on a bold promise: page 1 Google ranking or you don't pay. Kevin has over 20 years of experience across industries like finance, biotech, retail, and manufacturing. He is passionate about helping business grow and one of the few people already guiding companies on how to use AI tools to stay visible and competitive in today's fast-changing digital landscape. Hi Kevin, a warm welcome on our show.
Hi, how are you? Thank you very much for having me.
So Kevin, let us start with our conversation. So since you have been into this SEO industry for over 2 decades, so what's the single biggest change you have been seeing in this rise of AI search engines like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and others?
So the biggest change that I've seen when it comes to search is there was a report that Bain put out in late June of this year, and they discovered that 60% of searches in Google are now zero-click searches. So that means that people aren't going to your website. 60% of them, they are getting the answer in Gemini, in Claude, in ChatGPT. Without having to go to the website. So we are seeing a pretty precipitous drop in site visits all across industries.
Okay. Many marketers are still thinking that ranking only means Google. But can you explain how ranking in AI search is fundamentally different from ranking into Google search?
That's a great question. So thankfully, if your site is ranking pretty well in Google, you already have a really great baseline, because a lot of these large language models like ChatGPT are referencing how you're appearing in Google. So there are some things that to our clients, or actually we're implementing them for our clients, that are a little bit different. Like we're adding advanced schema to sites because the language models are accessing that data faster. We're adding LLM text handshakes to the site because there are some companies like Fox and some companies like Merriam-Webster that don't want the language models to access them, so they're putting basically do not crawl. So we are putting hey, here we are, do crawl us, and that seems to be adding a lot more visibility for our clients in them.
So now let us understand a bit of a strategy. What are some of the most critical steps a business should take today to make sure they are showing up in these all AI generated answers that are happening?
So there's a couple things that I think people should look at. The first thing that you want to do is make sure that your site is comprehensive. So what the language models are looking for is to build a comprehensive idea about you as a company and the services that you're offering. So for example, if you're a physical therapy client practice, you would want to talk about the types of things that you treat, but also who your doctors are, or who your physical therapists are, and give a little bit of background on them. Talk about the type of insurance that you take. Basically everything that someone's going to need to know to engage with your practice. The other thing that people should do is get in high authority publications. So get your citations, get your if you can get any high authority links. The language models are looking at that. A really simple thing that you can do, especially to rank well in Gemini, is reviews. So Google likes its own product, Google likes its GBP page, and they are going to look at reviews on your site. If the reviews can have let's say you're a local business, if the reviews can have a keyword phrase that you're trying to rank and a location, that is sending a signal, and ChatGPT and Gemini alike are picking those things up. Now it's really hard to get a review, and it's even harder to get someone to say something specific in a review. However, you can respond to every review that you get in Google, and you can include your keyword and your location inside that. Kevin, I'm really happy that you thought that you enjoyed your pizza and got the most delicious pepperoni pizza in Boston, right? It sounds corny, but that is a search signal. And then the last thing that I recommend, and this is also easy implementation, is have bite-sized information on your website, because these language models are returning snippets and bite-sized information. So you should put a little executive summary on the top of every page that has bite-sized information. Have some FAQs really help. Little questions and answers that are relevant to the topic that you're trying to rank for. So some of that stuff that I just mentioned is complex, some of it is very easy. If you start on the easy stuff, you will start to see an increase in the visits that you're getting, either directly or through links through ChatGPT and Gemini, Perplexity, and so forth.
Thank you for giving this advice. Now, we have also been hearing, while we keep on reading a lot of content, we have seen that a lot of people say that if we have proper structured data out there, or there's a kind of, if we have the content in the formatting point out there, let's say they are into the pointers out there, having some knowledge graph out there. So those all things will play an important role in terms of having those visibility. So can you just throw some lights on these facts? Like, does these pointers help in getting better rankings?
It helps you get more visibility in the answer engines. I'm not 100% sure why. The theory is that the answer engines are able to access that data quicker, because for example, schema, there's an introductory code in schema that will say, JSON file schema, and the language models are able to access that, and they'll read that schema file. So you can put FAQs inside the schema. Now, the important thing that you need to do is make sure those FAQs are relevant to the content on your page. So if you're trying to rank for peanut butter and jelly sandwich, have your FAQs on that page be about the peanut butter and jelly sandwich and support, something about bread, something about peanut butter, something about jelly. Don't just throw random FAQs on the site. The principles of relevance, I would say they matter even greater now. So the trick to ranking pre-answer engines was making sure that your page is relevant to the keyword that you're trying to rank, and that your links are relevant to the keyword phrase that you're trying to rank. So make sure that you are adding that in your schema. Make sure that relevance is an absolute priority.
Now, let us come to the next question, which is about a lot of small businesses. They are generally getting worried that they will get left behind because they don't have big budgets. Can AI ranking still be democratized, or will this become a pay-to-play game like we have Google Ads?
That's a great question. I'll answer that in two parts. So big wheels turn slow. So big companies, yes, they have the resources to do this, but there's a lot of things that they have to get signed off on before they can implement this. So smaller companies really do have a chance if you come in and you're adaptive and you're adding some of the things that I had mentioned before. When it comes to pay to play in Google Ads, it's already showing up. Advertising is already showing up in Gemini AI search. It is close to becoming in their app. Right now it's showing in the Google search. There's a lot of talks with ChatGPT about advertising. I haven't heard anything affirmative yet. I know that Perplexity tried ads and it's not working that well, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. My sense is there is that, like Google, for instance, the majority of their revenue comes through advertising. They are not gonna they are not going to figure out a way to perpetuate that. And there are a lot of really, really smart people at Google, and I guarantee you that they are looking at this. So it's slowly coming. It's definitely going to come.
Now, since you have been working with a lot of clients on AI, you have been giving consulting, you have been giving the services. Now, our audience would love to have an example or a kind of case study from you, that how, what was the problem statement with any of your client and how you integrated the strategies and what was the end outcome. So if you can...
So I can actually give Green Banana as an example, primarily because I do the coding on the Green Banana site. So anytime there's something new that's coming, I'll throw it up on the Green Banana site because I don't need permission to do that. I don't have to go through any red tape to do it. I don't have to, if it doesn't work, I don't have to teach my team that. And we have seen a 200% increase in visits just from ChatGPT. And we're getting more mentions through the tools that we use that tell us that in ChatGPT and Gemini. But the really cool thing that I see inside of Google Analytics are actually visits from people that are clicking Green Banana that get mentioned in ChatGPT, and that has gone up significantly. So, that would be like, we use us as our own case study. So if things work with us, we move it on to our clients. If they don't, we just don't do it. But it's nice to be able to have a great testing and battleground, on your own site.
Good. So can you also help us understand what are the different strategies that you tried upon for these clients?
So that some of the things that I talked about before, like the schema, absolutely. I haven't done this yet, but I'm working on putting an RSS feed because that is it, and that's going to be a lot of schema based in there. We're investing more in link building. We use PRs to link build. So we're not going to Fiverr to get cheap links to the site. We're getting mentioned in high authority publications. I get the opportunity sometimes to speak on podcasts, speak to other publications, and I'm making sure that there are links that are going back to that, and that's helping us primarily through ChatGPT because they're looking at other sources. So those type of things really help. And the other things that I mentioned, making sure that you have snippets, making sure that you're doing FAQs in your schema, that will help.
So, since with a lot of changes out there into this AI industry, most of the SEO professionals generally have a lot of doubt. So, one of the common doubts that they generally have is, where do you see SEO as a profession heading in the next 3 to 5 years? Will SEO need to become more technical, more strategic, or both?
So that's a great question. So the short answer is I don't know. I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen to SEO in 3 to 5 years. I think right now we're in the golden age. So I am super excited to be an SEO right now because we're able to help our clients rank in these models that are being rapidly adopted. I think it's going to become more technical. I think we're going to have SEO engineers is something that a keyword that keeps popping up in a lot of the stuff that I'm researching. Because ChatGPT can answer a lot of the theory, and ChatGPT Claude can write some great content. I think you're going to have SEO engineers, but if you're an SEO and you're listening to this right now and you're freaking out, take the time to study it because it's a really big opportunity. So I don't think you should be trying to roll up your company. I think you should be just jumping in and seeing how you can help clients rank in those engines because they need it. There's a lot of companies that are panicking right now.
So for someone listening who wants to future-proof their website visibility into AI search engines, what are the first 3 actions they should take after listening to this episode?
Well, so number one, if you haven't adopted, if you don't have an AI model, you need to use one. And I'm not even going to recommend which one because I think they're all pretty good. I like ChatGPT the best, but I think Gemini is amazing. I'm just used to ChatGPT. It's got my history and a lot of stuff on there. So you should absolutely start doing that and start playing with it. Some of the things that I talked about, making sure, like learn how to write schema. If you don't know how to write schema, ask ChatGPT. They write great schema. Making sure that you're adding FAQs to those pages. And then finally, like one thing that you should be doing is I think you should listen to as many podcasts or read as many publications that are talking about AI so you can learn some of the things that other people are doing. So I invest a lot of time in that, primarily because I'm super fascinated by it, but also I think it's really important. Things are changing, like not every month, they're changing every day. So staying on top of it. If you run, and I would say like the fourth thing, if you have a company, don't just be the only person that's interested in AI. Try to adopt it because AI it's not just beneficial for search. AI is helping people do repetitive tasks more quickly. Agentic AI is really taking off right now, and it can make your life a lot easier. And I think one of the things that I heard the other day that was really fascinating is that you don't have to be so worried about your current competition as much as you have to be worried about a brand new company starting up that is just AI centric, because they don't have any of those legacy technologies or legacy thoughts. So those are the things that keep me up at night, and that's why I'm making sure that we are rapidly adopting AI as an organization. So I think you should look at that too.
Got it. Very valuable advice. Now, finally, the last question that we have for today. What's one mindset shift you think every business leader must make to stay competitive in this AI-powered search era?
Oh, easy. You need to adopt it. It is not going away. So you need to embrace AI and you need to adopt it and not ignore it. And I honestly think if you do it, you'll have fun with it. That's how I started it. My journey with ChatGPT was stupid scripts and images, and it has evolved from there. So even if you're not using it in your business life, start using it in your personal life. My wife wanted to hire a designer to put a wraparound porch on my house, and I was like, give me a minute. And I went outside, took a picture of the front of my house, and said to ChatGPT, throw a wraparound porch on. And I came back in, and she was like, who did that? I'm like, Chat. Right. So I know it's not to spec, but it was just fun. It was a fun conversation to have, and and it did silly little things like it put a lake behind my house. There's no lake behind my house, and so you can do things and have fun with it. So that's what I recommend. I'd recommend you just, if you don't have a tool right now you're using, get one, use it. If you're using ChatGPT, for instance, start playing around with their agentic mode. If you can afford ChatGPT Pro, it does some pretty cool things, and I am experimenting with ChatGPT Pulse and having a great time with it.